You're watching College Football Village with Andrew Anderson, presented by Bones Coffee. Get your Bones Coffee at www.bonescoffee.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to College Sports Villain Season 2, Episode 15. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. I'm really excited about it. We have a special guest coming on. I'm not really sure when he can. He is live from Japan. So, yes, College Sports Villains will be live from Japan tonight. I'm excited about it. But before we get started with all that and all the content that we want to bring tonight, let's go ahead and bring our co-host to the stage. Let's start with Max. Mr. Spicy, how we doing?
What's going on, man? Look at you. You looking all nice and crispy clean.
Oh, yeah. I got a shave and a haircut today, man.
I noticed when I first came on, I was like, okay, my guy looking fresh today.
Oh, yeah. I had to get it, man. It was looking a little rough, a little shaggy there. You know what I mean?
And then that crispy white. I see you. I see
you like it?
White. Yeah. Like, listen, there's a few teams that they can't really pull it off, but there's other teams like I'm sorry, that Falcon that looks nice on white.
Oh yeah, I love it. Like my wife, when we were going out, she's like, "Hey, check this out," and I was like, "Yeah, I like that." So we're gonna go ahead and bring on our special guest tonight. Then we'll get to the co-host live from somewhere in Japan. Been a friend of mine since I was 4 years old. JD is here.
What up? What's going on, everybody?
What's up?
What time is it there?
Oh shit! It is 9:05 in the morning.
9 o'clock in the morning. Well, it is 8:05 at night here. So that's why he's drinking coffee and the rest of us are chilling.
Exactly. What's going on, man? How's everything been going?
Good, man. Good. You know, we going to work, taking care of the family, same stuff like that. I'm so glad you're here. You didn't get a chance to brag about our championship yet, but we're gonna get there again today. Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, nice little backdrop. Look at my old school Gamecock baseball cap.
Yeah. I just got my new baseball cap yesterday.
I like it. I got my Falcons hat on. Chris, you need some linguistics training from the U.S. military. JD's been the same since I was 4, and I don't think he's going to change now that we're 44 almost. So
never going to change.
That's right.
It is what it is, and you
that's
get
right.
what you're getting.
And that's how we
don't fix it.
That's right. So let's bring on our other co-host. Let's bring on the lovely Emily. How are we doing tonight, my wife?
I am great. I am home and I am not at work.
You are not at work. It was a long week for you, inventory, right?
Yes.
So, but it's over. You did work, and that's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And let's bring our last co-host on, but certainly not least, man, do we love here on Villains. Chris, how we doing?
I'm doing just peachy. We are currently in hurry up and wait mode in Nastyville, Tennessee, and my Commodores are putting that ass whooping on them Gators.
The Gators are trash, man. They're a trash bag.
This feels so good after that ass whooping we took last week.
Oh, yeah, us too. So we were having kind of a down trim, and then we got to run into the Gators, give us a little boost, and now we play the number 2 and the number 3 teams back to back in the next 2 series on the weekend. That's what we get for our trouble.
Yeah, we met.
I think I caught an episode he was on before. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I have a new segment that I want to introduce, and we're going to start off the show with a little funny every week, right? Because we all could use a little release. So this is what we call the fuck around and find out moment of the week. Just for a little context, this asshole, they're Russian, right? So this asshole throws a smoke bomb in this girl's kitchen, and the results are as follows. Oh my God. Everybody's like, what are you doing? So in case you didn't catch that, one more time real quick.
That's boiling fucking water.
Yes, it is. Look. And this is going to be one of my new favorite segments. Like, I bet he instantly regretted his actions of that moment.
Now, from watching the video the first time, I will say this. I said, if I was the guy in the blue shirt, there'd have been no hold bars. There'd have been no now knowing the pre-context that I mean, you know, that's almost assault with a deadly weapon right there, though. But I mean, still, smoke by somebody's house isn't really a smart thing to do. So, but wow,
no, it is not a smart thing to do.
Now the question is, Emily, if Andrew threw a smoke bomb in your kitchen, would you hit him with the hot water?
Oh no, I'd do something worse.
and y'all need to believe her. She is not lying at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, if somebody hits me with a hot water unprovoked, like somebody's gonna have a bad day. Like I'm not gonna throw a smoke bomb in somebody's kitchen, but like if I'm at a party and somebody throws some hot water on me, oh man, like I can't be held accountable for my actions in that moment.
I'll just remember to use some nice ice cold water for you then.
Yes, ice cold water. Much better.
I'm surprised we're live after some of the stuff that we've done growing up.
We really should not be alive. Oh, Max. So JD and I, like we known each other since we were like 4. And you know, and I want to just go ahead and point out that we were not like your typical neighborhood, hey, let's just throw the baseball around and have a good time, children.
Why does that not surprise me?
Oh my God!
So let's get like 8 M80s and let's tie a bunch of rubber bands and marbles together and then light it and throw it up in the air. Yeah, no, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we did have a buddy of ours who blew his thumb off.
Called it.
Oh,
like, damn, that was close.
You don't want to know what I did in my young adult days.
Look, dude, like so there was one time that we were having BB war in the woods, and I got in trouble, and my mom said, "Bring your ass home." So I was not out there during this particular incident, and I can't remember if it was JD or the other guy, but one of them took a BB to the eye during this war games they were having.
That was me.
Yeah, it was you. He took a BB to the eye.
I was blind in my right eye for about 2.5 weeks.
For real, like that shit ain't gonna lie. His eye was this big.
Yeah, it was bad.
So,
like, dude, how?
So you're having this fun time. I got a question for everybody.
Okay.
So this happened at a bar. So if you guys go to a bar and you walk up to this place and you see this, what are you doing?
Like, wait a minute. So, like, this is supposed to be a bar?
That is a bar in Tennessee.
One, I'm not going to a bar anyway. Two, I'm not going into any hillbilly rape building. Like, that's not going to happen.
But do you see the roof?
What is gas stations? That's gas stations and rest stops.
Right.
That's a 14-foot snake on the roof.
Oh.
Are you going
in? I'm going to the roof.
I mean the building itself said, no, I'm not going in. Just looking at the building, I'm not.
If I was drinking, I think it would all depend on how thirsty I was.
Yeah.
As long as he stays on the roof, he's good.
That's
Yeah,
right.
stay on the roof and I'm fine.
Yeah, you just stay up there.
I get to the little shot of that purple liquid in the green bottle and I'm good to go. I ain't worried about no snake.
Oh my God! Look, y'all, and we had such a great time. Like it was. I don't know how we're alive. He's not lying, like at all. Like yeah, we were bad little kids. I'm washing my hair.
We can't talk about that one.
We can't talk about that one, but that was funny.
That was
like,
funny.
It was like we can talk about this all night, but we are going to move on a little bit with the show, and we are going to inject some childhood things that we went to during, in different parts of the show, like the time JD got the cops called on us because he wanted to moon a bunch of old ladies driving in the car. Look, in context, we were like 8. Like we weren't like teenagers, like we were 8, and JD's like, wee, and these old ladies who went up the wrong road because this is a one-way road. It ends. Next thing you know, there's like 10 police cars coming down the road. I'm in my house. I don't see shit. I ain't going outside. I'm gonna sit here and play Nintendo for a while. Oh my God.
At least you didn't play hooky and get on the CB radio and start playing on the CB radio and talk to your preacher that was also the apartment manager where you lived at.
Oh Lord.
No.
Oops.
No, so listen, I used to live across from what would you call it, like a truck depot. So where guys when they would come home from going on the road, they would leave their trucks there, right? And so there was a big pothole like right when you pulled out on the left-hand side. So what I would do is I would go over to the right across the street, and I'd stand over there and I'd flip the bird to the truck drivers as they came out. And every one of them would pull all the way over to yell at me and slam that big ass pothole. And I would laugh and they'd pull off. And eventually what I didn't know was one day my dad was over there. My dad was a truck driver. So my dad's truck was parked over there. I didn't know. Usually my dad left his truck at the warehouse that he worked from, right? So, nope, my dad's truck's there. My dad's pulling out, and I'm flipping him off, and he pulls over. He hits that motherfucking pothole. He gets the fuck out. I'm like, oh, shit. And then all of a sudden, Michael! I turn around, it's my dad. Oh, boy, he beat my ass all the way down the motherfucking street into the house. Shit. Never did that again.
Oh man, no. I like it when you're kids, you do things like that. Like, you get on the east side of the road. Trains. Okay, well, we used to throw rocks at BMWs.
especially the rail cars that came by, carrying the brand new cars.
Yeah.
We hit cars that people were test driving.
Yeah, test driving a brand new BMW right through the windshield, baby. Boom. True ass story too.
I don't know how the hell we got out of that one.
Look, dude, he saw us in the front yard. He knew we didn't do it. And JD's like, there's some bad kids in the neighborhood. Oh my God. All right. So we will move on. We'll go on to one. Oh my God, that was so funny, y'all. You don't know, I was like, my stomach was turning. Like, this was a beautiful vehicle with a rock right through the damn windshield. All right, so the very first thing I want to talk about is weird ass fans, right? People love their schools and all that. We all know that, right? But like, Clemson fans are amongst the weirdest, cultist people that ever lived. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, help me the fuck out here, Clemson fans. Like, help me the fuck out. Get in the comments and tell me what this shit is right here. Mac, reaction?
I mean, listen to me. I love sports. And if you told me, like, yeah, who do you think in college sports would deserve to be in anything like this. Funny or not, it definitely wouldn't be Sweeney. But knowing that some diehard fan that probably jerks off into his Clemson towel every night,
Oh
Right.
my God.
is probably the one who made this.
I guarantee it. Like, this is like, I did not make this. Like, I found this on a Clemson page. Like, I was on a Clemson page and I found this, and it had like 600 likes. And I was like,
The
y'all some
angels,
weird
the
people.
lightning, the sun, the
But-
clouds, I mean,
But hear me out. They're not full-grown angels. Those are baby angels. Was this Clemson fan a fan of P. Diddy?
He probably is.
hey, hold on now. Who did Ricky Bobby pray to? Who did Ricky Bobby pray? Baby Jesus. We love the baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Look, man. Like Clemson fans or not. Like, y'all help me out. Like, what like
That's just wrong.
like this is unreal. Like, this is really unreal that somebody made this. I found this in a Clemson group, 600 and something likes on it. I'm just like blown away. Like, I love some sport, like Max said. I love some sports a lot, right? Like, a lot. And I love Dawn Staley. Like, you don't understand. Like, I am Dawn Staley's biggest fan. I promise you. Ask my boss. Like, ask my wife. I love Dawn Staley. But at no point would I be like, oh, let me pray to you. Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? Like these people have really, and Clemson fans are weird, Mac. JD and I grew up like fucking 30 minutes down the road from these fuckers.
Yeah.
They are weird. Weird.
I've met a handful of them in my life.
And that ain't the dumbest stuff that we've seen this week, but that ranks up there pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
So I finally have one real good topic that I would like to bring up.
yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Did you guys see that Caitlin Clark interview with that weird motherfucker?
Oh, it is. That's a segment. We're gonna get into it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because if
It's
it
here.
wasn't,
It's here.
Like, I watched that and I like it, if I would have been sitting next to him, he would have got the hardest elbow in his motherfucking chest
Yes,
before he would have finished that sentence.
we're gonna get into that. Not yet,
But-
though. That is a big topic because that dude is a trash bag, a straight up trash bag. But we gonna get into that dumb shit.
There's more where that dude came from too.
Yeah. Like, this guy is a nut job. But real quick, we got to pay some bills, right? So 55 seconds. Don't go nowhere, y'all. 55 seconds. You're watching College Sports Villains only on the Dog Media Network.
Icy Breeze is the world's first portable air conditioner and cooler. A premium ice cooler that doubles as an eco-friendly portable air conditioner. This is not a swamp cooler just blowing air across ice. Over 60 parts and components allow Icy Breeze to achieve what no other product in the world can do. The secret behind the Icy Breeze is an innovative design that circulates chilled ice water through a heat exchanger in the lid, replacing the Freon used in most ACs. Fresh air is drawn from hidden vents in the top of the cooler, pulled across the exchanger, and chilled down to 35 degrees cooler than the outside air. A 3-speed fan control delivers Icy Breeze's dry, cold air up to 25 miles per hour, just like a car AC. And a stay-put flex hose directs the breeze in any direction. Wherever you need it, Icy Breeze helps you beat the heat.
So we have structure for commercials on here, and the 55 second is the first break. So we will get into Bones Coffee later for our friend Chris. So so while we're here, actually, you know what? Mac already brought it up. Let's go ahead and bring this up. So this trash bag made this symbol at Caitlin Clark, and she said, "You like that?" And I don't have the video because I feel like it's going to be a big deal, and I really don't want to, be a part of playing that video. And then the reporter says, "I like that you're here. You should hear how he said it." And she goes, "Yeah, I do that to my family after every game." And then this trash bag says to her, "Start doing that to me and we'll get along just fine," is what a reporter who was credentialed and sitting at her WNBA press conference said to her in front of everybody there. Like, I just want y'all to soak this in. And we'll start with Mac since he brought it up. Like what what is this, Mac? Like, this is why it's so hard to get credentials to go to places like this. Just so y'all know, this is the exact reason right here. But go ahead, Mac. We'll start with you.
I mean, to extend off of what I was saying, literally, he would have been like, start doing it to me, and I would have fucking elbowed the shit out of this guy. Because you already know, with again, watching the video, super cringy.
Yes, very.
Oh, it was
And
cringe.
for me, it's just like, as a professional, why? Why do you think like you think your creepiness is gonna get you a date, bro? you have just made yourself famous for all the wrong fucking reasons.
Yes.
Did you see the pictures of him?
No, I've not seen a picture of him.
Dude's like 50.
Oh,
I mean, again, I mean, it just
He's saying that to somebody young enough to be his daughter.
Easily young enough to be his daughter.
I mean, like the age thing doesn't matter. It's again, is this is how you talk to people,
right?
On live TV.
Well, yeah.
No, I mean in general, like,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it worse is because you know you're being recorded, you know you're in a room with cameras, and you know somebody is listening. This is literally one of the most popular college players coming into the pros. If you don't think, I mean, we're talking billions of eyes are on this, and
Yes.
this is the shit that you say.
They need to check under his floorboards at his house.
Yes, 100%.
You need
So-
to check more than that.
No. While we're on the topic of Caitlin Clark, so you remember a couple weeks ago the whole thing happened with Coach Staley.
Yes.
Okay, the company that reporter worked for requested credentials for the WNBA draft. The WNBA said, "Yeah, no, we're not going to give you that courtesy."
Correct.
And then has spent the entire week complaining that this entity, that the WNBA wouldn't give Outkick credentials. Well, wait a minute. He's talked about Caitlin Clark more this week on Outkick than he ever has in her 4-year career. Wait a minute. What? How are you going to discredit the league? You're going to act like turds to them, and then you want to bounce off of their infamous status to support your own brand? Come on now.
Yeah, so in the middle, right before the championship game, he looks at Dawn Staley and he's like, "Hey, do you think transgender players should be able to play in the league?" And she answered, "I believe transgender players should be able to play somewhere," is what she answered.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took it and they said, Dawn Staley supports transgender athletes in women's basketball. And then after lying about it and they deny them credentials, they get mad about it. Well, you don't get to make shit up and then ask for a favor. That's not how this works. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, what are you doing?
Right. And did you hear the news that broke today about Caitlin Clark?
Oh, about the fucking 8-figure shoe deal?
Yeah, 8-figure shoe deal.
8 figures. They're estimating what, $18 million.
Yep.
With what company?
Nike.
Oh,
She met with Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour.
But Nike is supposedly the ones that are going to get the contract.
Yep.
So before we move on,
that's huge for the WNBA.
That's big.
So I'll just say this. So from what I've seen and what I've heard, there's been a little bit of backlash because your Candace Parkers and some of your other players that have been trying to get shoe deals for, some years.
So you know what? Before we move on to that, and I'll address that comment real quick, then I want to get JD and Emily's take on Caitlin Clark interview. Candace Parker, great athlete, big for the sport and all that. I'm a Gamecock fan, but Caitlin Clark brought the marketability. She brought it,
right?
Like she brought it. She knew what she was doing. Like she.
I understand it, which is why it doesn't make sense to me. My whole thing is how many little girls out there are saying, I, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be Caitlin Clark. I want millions, if not billions, by now, right? Candace Parker, I mean, there might be a few million girls out there that want to be Candace Parker. She's very talented. She's amazing. I love her. But again, you're talking about somebody who's on a different status level.
Right.
I
her
think
jersey did sell out in less than an hour. Yes.
I think the biggest difference between Clark and players like Lisa Leslie and Candace Parker and some of those other greats that came before her is we have social media now.
Correct.
And they didn't have it when they played.
Yes.
And that's the biggest difference.
Oh, listen, Cheryl Miller. Miller would have been the greatest WNBA player of all time. What could have been.
Yep.
So I'm going to get JD and Emily's take on this real quick. But before then, I just want to point out there is one player in WNBA history that had a lucrative shoe deal with Nike. Do we know her name? Because I do. She is currently the national championship head coach of the University of South Carolina Gamecocks.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know Staley had her shoe deal.
She sure did. She had her own shoes and everything. And that is something that I would know. All right. So, JD, real quick. Caitlin Clark interview, real weird fucking old dude. What do you think about it?
So, I haven't. It's really hard for me to follow all the sports and everything. Being over here, being 13 hours ahead of you guys. I haven't seen the video. After the show, I'm gonna jump on there and check it out. But come on, man, you're interviewing one of the best college football players or college basketball players in history, and you're gonna make comments like that. That's uncalled for. Be professional. That's very creepy,
creepy is right.
Wow. I'm shocked that the company that he works for hasn't taken the proper actions to deal with that.
Well, we're only 48 hours in, so they may have already started disciplinary action. They've just not announced it. But I've got to believe that it's going to be.
I know if I was her dad, I'd be having some one-on-one with that dude.
I think her dad was probably somewhere close because she's real close with her dad, even though she tells him to shut the fuck up. But
yeah.
We're really close to him.
So the question is, has Clay Travis offered him a contract yet?
You know it's coming. Emily, the interview, like you saw it, you watched it. What do you think?
It was really creepy, and I bet he drives a flat black van with no windows.
He probably does. It's your typical rape mobile.
Yes, a rapey van.
A rapey van, 100%. Like this guy, like if you have JD, when you get a chance to watch that video, as creepy as we made it sound, like it does not do that justice until you watch it.
And you can see her face. She's smiling when it all starts, and he says that, and her face just kind of goes blank.
Yeah, she's like, she's like, I think I'll pass, dude. Like that's the face that she gave him. I mean, like creepy, like just a weird, odd fellow. Just one of those. You know how these things go. People are just stupid, but
she probably wanted to make him do what my Mountain Dew bottle does when I take a drink. It disappears in the background.
Yes. Yeah. So, really weird. Hey, Brent, what's going on? Thank you for watching. He's in from Canada there, disability advocate. So that's one of the positive things of the world that we like, right? So I want to go ahead and bring up, while we're talking about it, meme of the week. And in honor, everybody, I want y'all to know, this is in honor of Tim Bailey.
Where the fuck is Tim Bailey?
So in honor of Tim Bailey, we present our CSV meme of the week. For those of you who have never been to Oklahoma, I love my Oklahoma people. But for those of you who have never been to Oklahoma, once again, I love my Oklahoma people. But for those of you who have never been there, it gets a little out there in Oklahoma.
I love my Iowa people, but I don't think Oklahoma can top Children of the Corn.
No, I a little bit of each, man. A little bit of each.
And speaking of my Iowa people, there's Brandon.
Yes,
he can tell you about some Children of the Corn.
Yeah, but no. Oklahoma is very out there, like lots of backwoods. Most places have cities and backwoods. But this place is backwoods with a few cities in there. Troy, good.
Iowa, you got to watch your livestock, man.
Except for Emily. So Troy's going to attack us all, but Emily. I hear you, Troy. Well, come on, attack us. I'm good with it.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, you definitely have to watch your livestock in Oklahoma, Matt. And in Clemson,
I was fixing to say, in Oklahoma, you notice all of the ranchers and farmers wear hip waders, right?
Look at him.
There's a reason for that.
And Clemson. I'm sorry. I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. I mean, I live very, very close to Clemson. Always, not always have, but for a long time we did. And one thing that I really, really think is really funny, when one kid gets on one side of the road and the other kid gets on the other side of the road, and the cars come in and you pull the imaginary rope and they slam on brakes. Oh my God, how we didn't die pulling toy guns on pickup trucks that were coming at us at 80 miles an hour on a back road. And these guys, y'all don't understand. For the younger generation, y'all don't understand. Like, all guns today look like toy guns, but our toy guns look like real ass fucking 6-shooters and 9mm, and that shit would look real. And this lady gunned at us, and this big white fucking redneck just she's going 80. Speed limit's 25 on that road for point of reference. We jumped in the creek.
Yep.
They could never understand. No, they cannot.
So, are you guys old enough to remember having the cassette tapes? And they get run over by a car, and then they'd string out everywhere.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tie it to a mailbox and tie it to a mailbox in the roadside on the other end of the road.
I remember betas.
Yeah, we had betas too. You had little bitty VHSs. Yeah. Yep. Like we're Gen Xers, right? So like this is we remember all of this stuff. I can't really divulge
take fishing
everything.
line and tie it across the road.
I'm just saying, like, I can't divulge all the information. Maybe not. We, one of us, me or JD, knocked on our neighbor's door while he was taking a shower. I'm talking about beat that door down, and this dude came to my house talking about somebody knocked on my door.
What does?
No, surely you didn't ditch knock.
Oh, yes, he did. But you know what? Like, all right, so this is where I'm gonna give JD like a ton of fucking credit, because we were like 7 years old, man. And like, he's knocking on the door, and JD walks out there, he goes, "Yeah, I did it." He's like, "I'm the one." I was like, man, you talk about self-accountability at a young age, man. That's big. That's maturity. Because my ass would have been like, "Fuck you, I ain't do shit."
Maturity is knowing what we called it back then and realizing you can't call it that anymore.
No. It was just stupid. And I just can't believe, honestly, that we're alive, especially with the machine that we turned on. So this was a
no charges.
He had no charges. This was a tree knocking down machine. I like, this thing was bigger than a bulldozer. They were clearing trees out across from, literally in the woods across from JD's house. Like, it was almost symmetrical. And me and JD and our buddy decided it was a good idea to turn on this massive tank-looking machine. Like, we turned it on. It's all fun and games until we can't fucking cut it off. And we jumped down and ran. Like I'm telling you that. I mean, we can hear it knocking down trees. You talking
Standing
about
on my
scared.
front porch, we could hear that thing just.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And there was a construction trailer sitting up there.
Yeah, there was.
And I was like, Andrew, Johnny, we got to go back up there and try to get that thing stopped.
Yes.
We went up there, and it was luckily we did, and we were able to finally get it stopped because it was about 20 feet from just demolishing that trailer.
Yes, it was. It was a direct path. Like
So
this thing
JD,
was
you're in the
huge.
military, right?
Yeah,
So you know what an easy go is.
an easy go.
Yeah, the little
Easy.
carts that you ride around in on the military base.
Oh
when
yeah,
you're
yeah,
on
yeah.
duty.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the hills of North Carolina, there might be a military issue easy go buried in the mud.
I'm sure
little
there is.
booze and a little dark night, and not requiring a key to get to them. Oops,
Look,
Oh,
man,
never
we,
came back.
we were kids. Like there was no alcohol involved. We were just idiots.
We were bored.
Yeah, we were bored. Oh man, like some of the stuff was just, it was the greatest, man. It was, so like for reference, JD. So I took my wife on a ride down the old road, and I showed her, like, all right, so you see these little woods here before JD's house. That's how we were able to get away with waving and throwing the rock because you couldn't see us coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember my old house, right?
Yeah.
So now they literally have a 40-foot fucking fence all the way around that property.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's a big ass fucking gate. It's at least 40 feet tall. Like that shit
That
looks
sounds-
weird.
That sounds
Wow.
like some Amityville horror type stuff.
Like, I mean,
That's like
Emily,
some Sunny
that's
Slopes
crazy.
cult stuff there.
Yeah, it is. It is. They don't know. They have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Old Sunny Slopes.
Sunny Slopes is the neighborhood that we grew up in. Big Ten Backers
Uh-oh.
is here. I have a Clark jersey. Oh, I mean, like
I
I
mean,
would rock a Caitlin Clark jersey.
is
What
it
about
a
you,
Will
Matt?
Clark jersey, a Caitlin Clark jersey? Come on now, you got to be a little bit more specific here.
I would definitely rock a Will Clark jersey. I like Will Clark. I hated the Giants, but I liked him.
Yeah.
Where's Kenny? I ain't seen Kenny.
Ah.
So we don't talk about Kenny.
Oh,
He
okay.
did.
Yeah. I will fill you in off the air.
Okay. Yeah, you fill me in on that because last time we talked, when I saw him, I was sitting on the boat watching the show, and
Hold up.
was
Let
talking
me
about-
ask you. What about this? Let me ask you. Hey, man. Hold up. Let me ask you.
He is no longer affiliated with the brand. That is the
Oh.
politically correct term.
oh, well, he still owes me a bottle of hot sauce when Auburn doesn't win.
That's right. Actually, just a picture of her of my tidy whities. Does that count? It counts in your world. Like if that's what you like, man, I'd be like, you an adult, you ain't hurting nobody with your Caitlin Clark tidy whities. You get blocked just like AB did.
But wait a minute. Are they actually tidy whities or are they Tim Bailey Superman style?
Oh, JD, you missed Tim Bailey's underwear on Chris's show. Kenny was always, but yes, Troy, yeah, so anyway, Kenny is no longer affiliated with the brand, and
Okay.
that's where we're at in life with that, and we'll leave it at that for the current moment. So,
All right.
So one thing that I really do, I'm really looking forward to is the NFL draft, right? I can't wait to see who the Falcons pick. Big Ten backers. So like, all right, look, we're gonna have some fun. Yeah, we don't know. But so we're all pretty sure Caleb Williams going number one, right? The Bears traded away Justin Fields and all that. So who do you think? I want to go in the round table here. We'll start with Chris since he's beside me over here. Who is the second quarterback taken in the draft?
Caleb Williams.
Assuming Caleb Williams is picked first, who is the second?
That's what I'm saying. Caleb Williams would be second. He's not going first.
So what for my show's purposes, we're going to assume that the Bears take him at number 1. Who goes second?
Jalen Daniels.
Jalen Daniels, JJ McCarthy. Where does he go? Denver is, but we'll get there. And then, we're going to finish this round, and I'm going to bring up this comment that just came up because JD will love it. Mac, who do you think the second quarterback in the draft is? Assuming Caleb Williams goes number 1.
I mean, I ain't even gonna lie, because at this point, I feel like I don't know shit. I thought Penix Jr. was gonna go up high, but they keep talking about all these other quarterbacks. I'm like, well, maybe Rattler, maybe this person, maybe that. I don't know. McCarthy, they're putting McCarthy in the top 10. I'm like, what? That's a second round guy.
Everything I'm hearing every day this week, everything I've heard is there's going to be 4 quarterbacks in the top 7 picks.
I heard that too. I really did. So, JD, do you have an idea of who you think is going to be the second quarterback behind Caleb Williams, assuming that they pick him?
Honestly, I mean, and I'm not saying this just because, but I could see Spencer going second.
So Spencer Rattler has been getting a lot of love in the off between this end of the season and draft. Even some NFL executives saying he's the best quarterback in this draft. I could see that. I think Jalen Daniels is going to be the second pick in the draft as well. Personally, I think that's the way that it's going to go. But like whoever Spencer Rattler goes to, I'm going to be there. That's going to be my secondary team. Like,
absolutely,
because Spencer Rattler, my boy. So JD. This comment's for you. Did you see it?
No. What is it? My favorite story?
So before we move on to this next comment, like I just got to tell this story. All right, so we're probably 8-9 years old, right? And it's summertime. So we rode our bikes all the way to the other side of town. Now, Travelers Rest may not seem like a big town, but it was a good hour drive there on our bicycles. And we bought some Little Caesars pizza is what we did, right? So we brought it back to the house and we ate it. Well, now we got 2 boxes of Little Caesars pizza, Chris, Matt. And we're like, throw it in your house. And JD's like, fuck you. You go throw that shit away in your house. So I said, fuck you. I'm not doing it either because our parents can't know that we rode our bikes all the way across town, right? Like they just can't know. So, instead of really using our brains, so we thought we'll destroy the evidence, Matt, Chris. So we got us some gasoline and we walked into the woods across the street, into the fucking woods. Poured the gasoline, lit the pizza boxes, and poured more gasoline while I'm standing over it. JD did, and it whooshes across my face, and I'm like, ah! So we burned these pizza boxes, and we're stomping it out, and it's just awful, right? And then so like whatever, so we destroyed the evidence. So later at night, I'm at home, and like it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and it's just me and my brother there. So I tell my brother what we did, and he said, when's the last time any of our parents went to the woods across the street? I'm like, well, they don't go over there. He goes, so why didn't you just throw the fucking boxes in the woods and leave it? I was like, I don't know. We had to burn it, man. We just had to burn it.
Bot caught the woods on fire.
Yes. So everything was on fire around this box because we're very, very smart. Big Packers, we will see. I will be in there and commenting on your smoking crack Rattler ain't happening. Yeah, probably about as good as that Ohio State quarterback. Because I know he didn't win nothing. Anyway,
so I'm hearing Williams, Daniels, May, and McCarthy all will be gone by the time the Titans pick at number 7.
And they're even saying Nick's is going to be like 17, 18.
But I will say this, and I know Big Ten Backers has been in here checking this out. If I'm an NFL GM, there's no way I'm drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. Not in the first round. I might go get him in the 3rd or 4th round, but I'm not taking him with the 1st round pick because you're not going to snub me at the combine and you're not going to provide no workout material pre-draft. Right. No, you've done it to yourself. I got nothing for you.
He did. But somebody is going to take a chance because of his talent level. Would you agree, Matt?
Who are we talking about again?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, he's the best wide receiver in the draft. Sorry, I was reading something that just popped up.
If he's the best wide receiver in the draft, why don't he do some workouts or go to the combine and prove it?
I mean,
he's not. We're talking about practice.
He is not. I will stand on my head and say it till I'm blue in the face. He is not his dad.
I mean, he doesn't need to be his dad. I mean, honestly, if he had, listen, especially in today's NFL,
in the 1st round, you have to be.
With the defensive backs that can barely touch the wide receivers, they can barely do anything to them, bro. If you can run 3 good routes, that's all you need. And the whole thing is routes don't mean shit. If you can get open, you can get open.
Yeah, quarterbacks are different now. It was all timing based in routes back in the day. That's true, but now the evolution of these quarterbacks is on the go, like the throw, and it become much easier when you couldn't hand check anymore. You couldn't get in their face, and it's a different game. That's 100% correct. But yeah, I agree with Matt. He doesn't need to be his dad. But I also agree with Chris. Marvin Harrison is one of the greatest to ever do it, and that's a large fucking pill to live up to right there. It really is.
Did you know that in the NFL there was one team that Harrison Jr. would not go across the middle on?
Who's that? Ray Lewis?
Tennessee Titans. And the reason for that is Blaine Bishop. Harrison came across the middle one time, caught a little pass, and turned to go upfield, and Blaine Bishop about ruined his career.
Well, you know what? I really wouldn't want to be knocked out in Tennessee either, because I'd be afraid of what happened.
Find you in the river with no pants, right?
That's right. I have been to Tennessee. I have been below the Cherokee Dam on the Holston River trout fishing while these motherfuckers let the dam go and forgot to ring the siren, and I'm up to here in water, and then these rednecks are up on the banks just going, look at them. Like, what? Help me, motherfucker. Help me. And they were. Me and Preston were like, oh my God, we got our fucking fishing poles up here, water's up here, and they're like, hey, see him? I'm like, what, see him? Not for long if you don't help me.
I love that Matt Short is in here talking with us and throwing stats up about Harrison Jr. He can have all the stats he wants. If you ain't going to do your workouts for the NFL teams and show GMs what you can physically do and all those doctors' reports, they're not going to draft you.
Well, hey, that's how you
Not
slide to the team you want. That's how you slide to the team you want.
I mean, somebody gonna draft him.
Oh,
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Listen, all I'm saying is if he made it to 30, Ravens be drafting a wide receiver. Okay.
Yep.
We draft best player available. And if that bro, I'm just saying, there's only a handful of people that I would even consider drafting before him. And it's not even a head to even the offensive linemen are good, but I'd still pick Marvin Harrison.
Yes.
Right.
So we got about 8 minutes to our next break. Not a long break, but in the next 8 minutes, I really want to interact with JD a little bit here. I know that's kind of weird because I've been doing it the whole show, but I really I don't get to see my friend very often as he's in, overseas in our military, which we fucking love you for that. But let's take a few moments to discuss your most recent national champions. Let's just talk about 3 national championships. Let's talk about a fourth one we would have won in COVID year because we beat 7 out of the top 10 teams by 20 plus. I get it. We don't have it, but we would have. Let's talk about Dawn fucking Staley, JD. Let's fucking talk about that bitch right there because that bitch is bad. Ugh!
I love it.
I love it.
Oh man, it gives me cold chills. Thank
Me
you.
too.
I wish she could coach all our sports.
Me too. Ain't no fucking lie there, man. Ain't no
That'd be
fucking lie.
nice.
Staley, man, she has got one hell of a program going for us.
Yeah. Best program we've ever had in any sport ever.
I was able to catch a little bit of the game. I was at PT during the championship game, so I ran over to the gym, and I was, I'd go lift some weights or go over here on the treadmill and play on the treadmill a little bit, and I was just hooting and hollering, yelling and screaming, and everybody's looking at me like, "What in the hell is this dude on?" But it was awesome. There was a lot of I felt like the refs were trying to give it to
Thank you.
Iowa.
Thank you.
Caitlin.
Yeah, giving it to Caitlin because some of the fouls and penalties that should have been called wasn't called, and it was just, I was like, man, are they just trying to give it to them because of Caitlin? And it, I feel a lot like Andrew does about refs and officials and stuff. They're, I don't know what it is. Everybody always seems to have a huge problem and issue with the Gamecocks, and I don't know why. Because there is a lot more teams out there that play dirty and just have a chip on their shoulder, and some of the ugliest fans that you will ever meet. And here we are, we're just old Joe Schmo Gamecocks, and we basically have to threaten to start shaking people just to get people, get officials to, be like, hey man, call this game fair. But they didn't have anything for the Gamecocks. First, right off the rip, they were down by 10, and then second half they just came out and just demolished them. Staley, she's awesome, man.
They put Raven Johnson on Caitlin Clark and locked that bitch down. She had
locked her down. She couldn't do nothing.
Like she was stealing the ball from her. She was disrupting her game. But see, as good as Raven Johnson was against her, this really is a testament to Dawn Staley and what she saw and how she adapted at halftime in a national fucking championship game to shut down the best player in women's basketball. She was the best player in women's basketball. Like that's what Dawn Staley brings. She watched how she was going to play that game. She's seen how she was done it at halftime. She's like, all right, this is how we're going to handle it. And it worked to perfection. I love her. Like her coaching abilities should go down with the best coaches in any sport.
Absolutely.
So the thing I saw was, in the first quarter when she had the defense playing off and sagging, and Caitlin Clark went off for 18 in the first quarter. Iowa was balling. And then she decided to change it up and go to a box and one and leave Raven Johnson on Caitlin Clark. It was over.
It was brilliant.
It was over.
I mean, like, she locked her down. The thing about it is Caitlin Clark is a fantastic shooter, right? That is her MO. What Caitlin Clark is not fantastic is a lot of other facets of the game. Raven Johnson was a lot faster than her and more athletic, and it was very evident very quickly during that interaction. So,
and I thought if Caitlin could have won that matchup, that freed Stolke up because, Cardoso is bigger than Stolke, but Stolke has more maneuverability.
From a Wazoo fan, Troy?
I think Stolke could have handled herself in paint against Cardoso had Caitlin Clark won that matchup, but she didn't win that matchup, and everything else was just a grind.
So where I will agree with you is had Caitlin Clark won that matchup, we're looking at a very different game.
Yeah.
Where I don't agree with you is I don't think she could have stayed in the paint toe-to-toe with Cardoso the whole game. Like, I just don't think she would have been able to do that.
I think they would have had to have a committee. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You would have definitely had to have a committee. Wazoo rules. Wazoo does rule the Pac-2, y'all. I will give it to Troy right now. Wazoo is the best team in the Pac-2. That is a fact, and I'm sorry for not bringing that up. but she's just fantastic. Like the adjustments that she made mid-game, you know, and then we've already got 3 of our starters coming back next year. They're saying, you know, repeat tour instead of revenge tour, repeat tour. But you know, we're about to take our next break. But you know, honestly, Dawn Staley made a lot of comments about how her career is going to be coming to a close soon. She's not going to be around long enough to break Pat Summitt's records and all that. And I just want to say, as a Gamecock fan, if Dawn Staley, I do think she'll come back for one more year, but if she does choose to hang it up next year, right? She has done enough for us. Period. Like, I'm not even going to be mad. Like, what you did is enough.
But then therein lies the question. Who do you get?
So, unfortunately, nobody wants to follow the legend, right? So, we're not going to get a great coach right off the bat. But the program is blue blood now in the women's basketball. So, it will continue to be very good. But I have no idea. Lots of former players for Dawn Staley who are you know, very basketball minded. Who knows? But you know what's going to attract the coach, Chris, and I'll let you say that. You know what's going to attract the coach to South Carolina? You ever seen the South Carolina women's home games? Every single one of them motherfuckers are sold out every single time. Like, and they put money into that sport there, and the fans support it.
That's a fair observation. But if you go back to pre-Staley, that wasn't the case. And Tennessee and Vanderbilt used to be in that position where they were selling out all their home games. Vanderbilt don't sell out theirs anymore.
So South Carolina's always had a very good women's basketball following, but it certainly tripled during the Staley era. So we're going to go to our last commercial, and then we'll get back with a couple of our final things that we're going through. I appreciate everybody being here so far, everybody in the comments. You're watching College Sports Villains, the podcast, only on the Dog Media Network.
Boy, that's mediocre.
Then what the f are you doing?
I was drinking that.
No, you were surviving it. Give excitement a try with Bones Coffee. Click on the link below to order some for yourself. Here.
Whoa is right.
That substance you were sipping before is what we in the industry refer to as ass water. Sure, it technically has caffeine, but at Bones Coffee, we believe in the experience of waking up every morning looking forward to that first tasty cup. That's why we roast carefully selected beans in small batches to perfection, so you can count on quality in every cup. And not only that, Bones has a ton of fabulous flavors from which to choose.
Hey, did someone mention flavors? Highland Greg, pleasure to meet you.
What'll it be, Greg?
You know, I've been hankering for the spiced rum flavor of Highland Grove, please.
Greg, I'm surprised by the size of your bagpipe.
Ugh, it's not the size of the bagpipe that matters, laddie.
Yeah, it's how hard you blow it. Yeah, let's leave the talking to me.
Oh, gee, I just got back from chasing some hosers out of the grilling rink. I could go for some maple bacon coffee right about noon.
Coming right up.
Hey kid, you single?
Yeah.
That's why this place looks like
Here you are, my salty siren.
Thanks. I need the salted caramel chocolate pick-me-up after dealing with this loser.
How in the world are all these people getting in here?
We just walked in. Click on the link below to stop drinking water and get yourself Bones Coffee today. Or maybe you don't want to click on the link below because you think, flavored coffee's not for me. That was Sarah G's experience. She says, usually flavored coffees taste chemically to me, but these do not. They have a really pleasant aroma and flavor. They do not leave that weird residue on the bottom of your mug like many flavored coffees do. And Cheryl S. says, I ordered this for my son's GF for a B-day. She loves it. Why, Cheryl, that's awfully nice of you. Unfortunately, they broke up and I can't return it. Frowny face. Well, that's awkward. At least she liked it, though. Stop settling for mediocrity and order Bones Coffee today.
Welcome back to College Sports Villains Only on the Dog Media Network. I just want to point out that our podcast is international. I just want to say that. Thank you to JD over there.
Baby, let's go.
That international podcast, College Sports Villains. Let's go, baby. Caitlin Clark was good. She's a great passer, rebounder, and leader, and shooter. Like I don't know how we could forget that. Yes, that's not the commercial that Chris wanted, unfortunately. So with that being said, so we'll move on.
Mac is confused.
He is confused. But there's another commercial that we don't run on this show that Chris loves more than anything because of the girl in it. The Bones Coffee girl is what he calls her.
Yep. She wears the skeleton bodysuit, and the bones are different colors.
Yeah, he's very much attention to detail on this.
Yes.
So right now, I don't know if y'all know a lot about this because I want to touch on. I just want to touch on the NHL playoffs literally for like 1 minute. The Blackhawks aren't there, so boring as fuck. So the NBA playoffs, right? Yeah, so I'm a Blackhawks fan, so whatever. So the NBA playoffs, my Hawks got put out last night, so fuck that too. But no, for real though, all joking aside, who do y'all think is going to win the NBA championship? My money right now is on the Denver Nuggets. Emily, would you agree with Denver Nuggets? Would you go Boston, Milwaukee? Like, who are you thinking?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
The Denver Nuggets?
Mm-hmm.
You got the 2-time MVP, probable 3-time MVP coming out of there. Chris, who you got winning it all?
I don't know who's going to win it all, but I'm coming out with a hot take that Oklahoma City pulls an upset and SGA wins MVP.
If SGA wins MVP, like what kind of ass is that? Because he does not deserve it. That's just my opinion. Not after what Joker did. So
I think he's leading the league in scoring, ain't he?
I mean, like we're scoring 400 points a game. That's not that impressive to me. Is he getting like 25 rebounds a game also? You know what I mean? 15 assists. It's a different world with Joker. In my opinion, SGA is a fantastic player. Certainly, worthy of notoriety, but he's not a better player than Joker, in my opinion. Mac, who do you think wins it all right now?
I want to see Boston. I want to see Boston win it all. I mean, they're the best team in the East. The Nuggets are very good. I mean, it's the Nuggets to lose. Let's not get this twisted. Like, as good as Boston has been this year, like, I still don't think, like, it's the same. It's almost the same exact matchup as it was last year.
Right.
So, and for me, Boston hasn't really got much better, at least when it matters. So we'll see. We'll see.
JD, who do you got winning the NBA Finals?
I haven't really been following it since I've been over here. So I'm just gonna have to go with Denver. I'm gonna go with you because I haven't really been following it seeing what's going on. So I can't really voice my opinion on everything because like I said, I don't know what's going on.
So Mac is 100% correct when he says it is Denver's to lose. I believe they are the heavily favorites to win.
Now, I like New York though. I like New York, the Knicks.
Dangerous team.
I like them. I like them. Now that Mitchell's back, and you got the big white boy. I can't say his name. Fucking.
Just call him the Russian guy. I'm good with it.
Yeah. The big white dude. Him and then they got DiVincenzo.
Yes.
They got the other kid. Fuck man, like they got a nice squad there with Brunson.
Y'all know the dude with the fingers. They got him.
I actually think his name is Mitchell. Is it Mitchell? I know it starts with an M.
They're good.
I mean, I've won money with him, so every game. And sure, McBride, that's his name, McBride.
So Chris, do you have OKC winning the West?
I actually do.
You have OKC like going through Minnesota and Denver to make it to the finals.
Yep. This is a team that is so young that they don't understand that they're not supposed to be doing what they're doing. They are younger than the North Carolina men's basketball team.
That is true.
And here they are. And SGA is out here. People can say Luke is a better scorer. No, he's not. He just shoots more.
I disagree.
So would it surprise you to know that in games where how many games do you think Luka has had more than 25 field goals?
I've no idea.
He's had 25 games of 25 field goals attempted or more. SGA has 10. Luke is not a better scorer. He just shoots the ball more.
So also Luka's also guarded by the best player on the other team, if not two. Let's not get it twisted. Michael Jordan was outscored a few times during his career too, but he was by far the better player and scorer than whoever beat him during those things. And that's how I'll compare that. Like, because there was no one during Jordan's era that was a better scorer than Michael Jordan. Like, just weren't. I like Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Well, what do you think? So honestly, real quick, I do want to do this. I want to know who you think the GOAT NBA player is and the most dominant NBA player. And I'll go first as an example of what I mean. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. But the most dominant player that I ever saw play was Shaquille O'Neal. Because during his prime, he could not be stopped. He was the most dominant that I saw. What about you, Chris?
Greatest player of all time? I'm going Jordan. It's not even a debate.
Correct.
The most intimidating? I'm going back a few years. I got 13 rings and my name is Wilt the Still.
So competition matters aside.
13 rings?
Yes.
No. That's Russell. Russell's got 13 rings. Wilt ain't got no 13 rings because of Russell.
Well,
Dominique Wilkins, yes. Closest to Jordan was Dominique Wilkins during that time for scoring. But he was dominant. Matt, what you got?
All right. So, GOAT, Michael Jordan, of course. But you took the most dominant player, so I'm going to give you one of the top 5. Shawn Kemp.
Oh, yeah.
He was a dominating.
He was hard.
He was just muscle after muscle after muscle. Like, Shawn Kemp is one of my favorite players of all time. You'll get no pushback from me for that comment. I love fucking Rain Man.
Now, if you want a highlight reel, I mean,
yes.
Most definitely you go with Dominique.
Oh, yeah. Look, y'all have seen my show. Y'all have seen my vintage Dominique Wilkins jersey that my wife bought me. That shit is clean. I love me some Dominique. Like, he was fun to watch. And he played on the Hawks. JD, greatest of all time.
Man, I tell you, from today's basketball and then growing up in the 80s and watching basketball, hands down, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. It was great as a little kid watching him on TV. Just watching him do what he did, it was crazy.
It was.
Let it go.
I would have to go with Larry Bird. Man, watching him play, and he had no fear, and he stepped up and would just play some awesome ball. Dad was a huge Celtics fan, so I had to watch Celtics play a lot. But yeah, I would have to pick Larry Bird for dominant. He played a good game.
He did. So before we get to Emily, I just want to say I love JD and Chris being here because like I'm on No Mercy Sports as well. And like we start getting into me and Mac and James start getting this conversation. I'm like, oh yeah. And they're like, man, could you imagine in a time where you watched Jordan play as a kid? And I'm like, yes. Like, have you ever could you imagine being able to watch Larry Bird play? And I'm like, yes, yeah. I can remember it. And I just feel so fucking old. But now that you and Chris are here, I'm like, yay! Like they understand this. And now Mac's the young one. And
I watched Jordan play. I not only watched Jordan play, he came to the fucking Wizards, my home team.
Okay, I'm going to throw a name out here for you. So, my favorite player of all time, Frog Glasses, baby.
Oh. What's his name? Rick? No.
Nope. Old Lakers player.
Kareem Abdul.
No.
He
played with Kareem.
Oh my God, what the fuck was his name? Oh my God, I'm so mad. I was literally just reading an article about it not that long ago.
He might have been the most undersung player on that Lakers team.
All right, tell us so we can know.
I'll give you a hint. There you go. Kurt Rambis.
Yeah, Kurt Rambis. That's what it was.
So, lots of cocaine for Kurt Rambis. But Emily, and if you watched him, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Greatest player of all time.
I'm going to go with Michael Jordan.
Yes. It's really a consensus and the most dominant player of all time.
I don't know.
There's a lot. So Chris brought this out. I want to get into this real quick. Your favorite NBA player of all time. Mine is Dominique Wilkins. Everybody knows, and it's not even fucking close. We know Chris's. Who is your favorite NBA player of all time, Emily? Is it Michael Jordan?
I would have to say yes.
Yeah, so Michael Jordan was big when we were all growing up. Emily is a little younger than us, but like y'all don't understand the magnitude. Like y'all think Jordan's big now with his shoes and who he is. Like you should have seen Michael Jordan in the fucking 80s. This was God. Like I'm not even joking. Like he was on TV like God. I'm not playing.
This was before ESPN was ESPN.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Emily.
I have to admit, though, that one of the reasons I say Michael Jordan is because of Space Jam, so I apologize for that.
Hey, look. But that's part of what made Michael Jordan God, though. Like that movie was like a testament to his legend. Like Michael Jordan was larger than life when we were kids. And when I say larger than life, I mean larger than life. Like everybody knew who the fuck Michael Jordan was. Didn't know who the president was, but they knew who fucking Michael Jordan was. That is a fact.
But Another one along that time frame when ESPN blew up and Jordan got household name status. Another guy got household name status.
A lot of guys did.
Shaq.
But Shaquille O'Neal was
Kazam.
Yeah, Kazam. That's right.
This dude's out here just ripping down basketball goals in the middle of games. It's dunking
Yes,
and
he did.
ripping them down.
So Kobe Bryant is the second best player ever. So we will get into that here if you want, because I'm on.
What's going on with Matt Short over here? He's talking about all these guys that are not Kentucky players.
They are. So Matt,
You
who's
learned
your
something.
favorite? Your favorite NBA player of all time?
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. All right, I like Bill Russell. JD, your favorite NBA player of all time?
Mine's a little mix up between Jordan and I used to love watching Dennis Rodman play.
Yeah. Oh, great game.
Loved watching Dennis.
Well, ass pincher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman gave 0 fucks. This motherfucker,
Zero.
Ear tickler.
this motherfucker walks up in a press conference in a fucking dress, half
Yeah.
makeup, half Dennis Rodman, and says, "I'm marrying myself, motherfuckers," and then shows up for the Bulls game in an hour. Like this guy was a nut. This was AB before AB. Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call
Could
it
you-
what it is.
Could you imagine LeBron trying to post up Rodman in today's game? Rodman would hurt that boy.
Yeah, no, he definitely would. Like you wouldn't be able to. So this is where we're going to ask a question next. But the game is so soft these days. So and then people are like, well, LeBron scored 40,000. LeBron's a fantastic player, but would LeBron scored 40,000 in the 80s?
No.
No,
No.
absolutely not. All
He'd have
letters.
missed half a season with a broken nose thanks to Bill Laimbeer and that sharp ass elbow.
Man, he would have ran into Bill Laimbeer, and then Dennis Rodman would have been pitching his ass, and Isaiah Thomas would have been biting his knees. I mean, like the Bad Boy Piston. No.
Yeah.
So
See, Mac is confused because he didn't get to enjoy all that stuff like we did.
that shit was crazy, man. NBA in the 80s,
no, I
baby,
mean-
was a free for all.
So I remember like the mid to late 90s. And I mean it was rough, but then again, like I grew up at my grandmother's house, ESPN Classics. So I mean, I got to watch all of that. I had a sports knowledge central in my basement. My uncles recorded everything illegally. Like they would sit there and tape every sport,
VCR
event,
record.
everything. Like, no, for real. I like my Uncle Jimmy was 740 pounds. Like when I say this guy didn't leave the house, this guy didn't leave the house. He sat there and would just sit there and record and record and record. So, I mean, I had everything dating back to like 89 and forward.
Oh, shit. 89 and 4. So,
By the way, I do have a stat for you, Andrew.
go ahead.
There are only 2 players in NBA history with 2,000 points, 150 steals, and an average of less than 35 minutes per game. Can you name them?
An average of less. You said steals, and what was the first one?
2,000 points.
2,000 points.
In one season?
Yes.
That amount of steals and that many points suggests it's a point guard would be my first guess.
Stockton?
Nope.
I couldn't see Stockton playing under 35 a game. Him and Karl Malone used to go wire to wire. And generally, most older players play. I mean, maybe Isaiah Thomas.
Steph Curry
New
and,
player.
and SGA. They're the only 2 players in history to ever do that.
So the reason that I said this is probably not an old player when I said that, because players played wire to wire back in those games. Like they didn't come out much, and they played 82 games a year, and the game has changed, load management or whatever. That was my first clue that these were going to be newer players, right? Younger players. Yeah, Draymond Green would have been fucking knocked out in the 80s, like trying that bullshit. Like that would not have. If he'd have punched one guy, he would have had the whole rest of the team kicking him. Not this. Let's walk away to the side that we do in today. Olay bullshit that goes on. But before we get into the final segment, since Matt brought up Kobe Bryant's the second greatest player ever, this is where I want everybody, because we all picked Jordan. I want to know who's your number 2. Then we'll move on. I'll go ahead and start. LeBron James is the second best player of all time, in my opinion. As much shit as I give him, like I'm going to give him that. Chris, who do you got?
Second best player of all time?
Yeah, behind Jordan.
Magic.
He had we'll call it a career-shortening injury that went away since the only person ever to do it. But he was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Mac.
See, and it pains me to do this, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does not get enough respect because not only does he have all the Magic rings, he also earned one by himself. Well, okay, not by himself, but
in Milwaukee.
Yes. He wasn't by himself in Milwaukee. He did have the Pearl, didn't he?
Yes.
Earl the Pearl Monroe?
Yeah, but still, a lot of people don't know him. It's not like he had a super team.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. And again, who did he beat in 69? I don't know. I mean, the Celtics. The Celtics won 10 years in a row. He took one of those championships from the super Celtics, okay?
Hey, look, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not my number 2, but he's certainly in my top 5 in no particular order. So that's not a huge stretch for me. Emily, second greatest player of all time.
I'm gonna go with Shaq.
I can't disagree with that. He is the most dominant player I've ever seen play. Like that is an absolute. I've never seen a more dominating force in any sport ever than what Shaq was during his prime. Like it was just unfucking real how unstoppable that big bastard was. JD, you're the second best NBA player of all time.
My second best is also Kareem. I would have to put him definitely at number 2. It's a toss up, close match between him and Magic. But I'm not a huge fan of LeBron James. I think he's a little bit too much of a crybaby. But yeah, I'd have to go Kareem.
So I'm just feeling a huge Lakers bias up in this motherfucker with Magic and Kareem and Kobe, and that's all I hear for these number 2 players. Like we are Magic, Shaquille O'Neal Lakers, Kobe Lakers, Magic Lakers. Like every single one of you picked the Lakers number 2, and so did I with LeBron James. Like that's a fucking crazy.
How about if I change that up for you?
Yeah, go ahead. James is a crybaby, Matt says.
Magic Shaq was better than Lakers Shaq.
Yeah. The first 3 years, Lakers Shaq and Magic Shaq, that during that era, yes, is the greatest Shaq ever. So I'm just going to throw something out here before we go into the next segment. Like we like to fucking shit on LeBron James. And, I did earlier too, saying he's not going to score 40,000 in the 80s, but we shit on LeBron James for flopping a lot. Would you agree? Like that's something we see him do it, right? So we shit on him for it. But who's a bigger flopper than that and never gets fucking caught out on his fucking bullshit? Jimmy Flops. Jimmy Butler is the biggest flopping baby I've ever. If you watched any of the games this year, he is way worse than LeBron James is. I just call him Jimmy Flops at this point. Like are y'all see? Like y'all watching these Magic games? Like my God, you look at the guy, he's like, oh, like it is just outrageous.
Yeah, but I got a bigger flop than that.
Caitlin Clark. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Grant Williams.
I mean, more than Jimmy Flops?
Yes.
I watched.
This is personal. This is personal.
Oh, it's personal. Okay, I was about to say, I don't know about that, but
Every time
Man.
I see Grant Williams, he's flopping.
So, the most overrated player in today's game is Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Like, y'all can hate on me for saying that, but that is a fact. Because he has a fucking phenomenal team, and they're like, look what Jimmy Butler's doing by himself. Missing shots and fucking up in the playoffs. I'm confused. Like what are we talking about here? O'Neal let himself get out of shape, but he's the best testament to the game. Yeah, he
worked his ass off, got the bag, and then he got the bag.
So
he won his championships. He did what he was supposed to do.
He
but
did.
Ultimately, if he would have had Kobe's work ethic, if he would have had Michael Jordan's work ethic, shit, even if he would have had LeBron's work ethic, do you understand that mother?
What he could have been, and he's already the most dominant player ever.
So you think about what could have been. Take Reggie Miller and put him in today's game.
Yeah, could you imagine not being able to guard Reggie Miller? Like, you can't hand check him. You can't put your hand in his face. You can't hip check. You can't do none of that shit. Reggie Miller's just out there shooting fucking wide open threes. Like, this guy's averaging 45 points a fucking game. Easy.
He's going on logo tour.
Yes. This motherfucker. Could you imagine if you just weren't allowed to guard Reggie Miller like Steph Curry today? What he would do to you?
So, speaking on the Bulls teams and stuff, Tony, what is it? Kukoc. Listen. Luka Doncic. Luka fucking Doncic.
Yes.
Okay. Like when it's so funny to watch the old 90s clips and some of the videos and see him play and be like, damn, that looks familiar.
Uh-huh.
Just swish.
So yes. So I'm glad you brought that up, because if you watch Tony Kukoc and how he played, and you watch Luka and how he plays today, like, the game is modeled. It is obvious. And you know, like, we can go on this forever, but I just think about all the players from the 80s that would have just fucking been eaten in this era. Just eaten. Sean Kemp, could you imagine? Just eaten. Dominique Wilkins. Could you imagine Dominique Wilkins in today's game? You can't get in his way. You just got to let him fucking dunk, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's scoring 80 a game.
Malone.
Somebody's getting facials from Dominique.
Dominique would be like, could you imagine him in today's era of social media? You can't touch him. You can't block him. You can't hand check him. He's just up there fucking dunking on you every play, and there's nothing you can do about it, or they're going to call a foul. Crazy. Yep. So I want to get into this. I love talking old NBA. Like, I really, really do. But go ahead.
Real quick, let me ask a question. Who in the 80s and 90s would have done this mess?
It's a steal for Drummond. Andre Drummond knocked it free, and Torrey Craig.
Yeah, I saw that. Set him up for the alley-oop, and he missed the dunk.
Oh, my shot to the fool.
That was the Bulls.
Who would do that in the 80s and 90s?
Not more than once. Look at Mac. He's like, what the fuck was that?
Cleveland. Cleveland is calling.
So before we, they are. So before we go to the final segment, JD, I want you to watch this video from last week that you missed. Like, watch this video, like this shit.
Oh Lord.
He about got his ass, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I'm standing on it again today. Colored fields are a marketing genius idea. They need to do it.
Oh, yeah. So I will tell you what's a genius idea. So you have, let's just say, a little baseball park for Little League games called Gateway Park. Let's just throw that out there. And you're running from first to second base, and there's a goddamn hole in the middle over there as you're running. And you fall, you twist your ankle, it goes up to the side. So you scream a few obscenities, you get home, your mom beats you. Like, this is all hypothetical things that may have happened at Gateway Park and Travelers Rest back when I was a kid. And that hypothetical hand from my mom may have been because I was screaming a few F-bombs at 9 years old. Like Gateway Park, I have great memories there, but my God, they did not keep that shit up for nothing, man. Like you just be out there running. I got a double. Your ankle's broken. They're tagging you out. Like what happened? Like I hate this place. So for our final, go ahead.
So before we move on to our favorite topic of baseball, do you want to address the stupidity from the U.S. Basketball Writers Association?
Which stupidity?
So yesterday they named the Women's Coach of the Year award after Gino Auriemma. Wait, come on.
Not Pat Summitt.
Mac, are you going to call the women's college basketball coach the Gino Auriemma Coach of the Year? Think about that.
Don Staley.
Yeah, Don Staley.
They named the award after Gino, though.
A man. now he gets. He's like, wait a damn minute. Yeah, that it's named the GR. It's the women's award is named after a man. Welcome to 2024.
Well, it may be a man.
Gino's probably a man. He looks like Pat from Saturday Night Live a little bit. I can see some androgyny there.
I mean, name it anything. Don't name the Women's Coach of the Year award after a man.
The fact that it's not named after Pat Summitt suggests everything you need to know about bias in women's college basketball right now.
See, that's what I'm thinking. You got Pat Summitt. You got Jody Conrad. You got Tara Vanderveer. You got freaking C. Vivian Stringer, the first Black great American women's college coach. She was Dawn Staley before Dawn Staley was Dawn Staley.
Without the championship. But anyway, yeah.
Name it after any one of those.
Pat Summitt.
Don't name it after a dude.
The impact that Pat Summitt had on the women's game is by far bigger than any coach, including Dawn Staley. That is a fact. Whether you like that fact or not is irrelevant. Pat Summitt was that person.
Yep.
Period. The fact that this award is not named after her is a fucking travesty. Gino's won a lot, but he ain't do for the game what Pat did for the game. Nope. He did not.
He was able to do what he did because of
correct.
Pat.
Because of Pat. That's a joke. So I want to get into this. And then we'll talk about how the Braves won all the smoke and we just went into Houston and swept them motherfuckers. But the saddest fans of each fan. Now, keep in mind we will update this.
Sorry, guys. I got to hop up out of here. Got to go take care of some family stuff. It's a great show. No problem. I'll see you next week as usual.
I'll be here.
Have a good one.
So of course we'll update this in July when they officially join the football conferences. So just real quick, the saddest fan bases in each conference, right? So, and you think Missouri? Well, Missouri's not the worst football team, but if you look at it as athletics overall, how many SEC championships has Missouri brought to the table since they joined, Chris?
I don't remember, but I had a graphic on my old computer that showed how many championships since 2010 that each school had won. Vanderbilt wasn't last.
No, Vanderbilt was not even close. No. So you know who was last? Missouri.
Yeah, they were.
And Texas A&M was right above them. Do you know how many SEC championships in every sport, women's lacrosse and everything, that Missouri has brought in since their entrance?
I don't think they've won a single SEC championship, have they?
None. Not a one. That is a sad fan base, man. That is a sad fan base.
That's fair.
Has no business in the SEC. Makes no sense. Would y'all agree with that? Like, can't even get one SEC championship, you the saddest.
100%, yeah.
Right. And Boston College, who's not having a lot of success in their conference either. And the reason they're the saddest for me is because they had the opportunity to join the Big Ten. The Big Ten asked them to join before the ACC did. And look at the lucrative deal that Boston College will be having right now, which is a huge reason why they took Maryland, by the way. Look at the money that Boston College would have right now. If you're going to suck, you might as well suck rich. Like, wouldn't you agree?
See, I have a soft spot in my heart for Boston College. Because remember, one year they were the runner-up in the ACC.
1 year?
No, they were the runner-up in the Big East. Is before they moved to the ACC.
Yes.
Runner-up in the Big East. They were 9-2 for the regular season.
Right behind Miami.
And they got beat in a bowl game by a 6-6 Vanderbilt. Their first bowl game win in 26 years. So I have a soft spot for them.
So I will tell you, the Gamecocks won their first ever bowl game when I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 15. It was the CarQuest Bowl. Or 14. It was 95 CarQuest Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember when they beat West Virginia, JD, for our first bowl win ever?
Yeah.
I read that shit was awesome. And Hamburger Boy.
I can picture your quarterback, dude with the long hair.
Yeah, he had a mullet, Steve Tannehill.
Old Steve
Tannehill. I couldn't remember his name. I was drawing a blank.
Hey, you remember when he went into Clemson and beat him and signed the Tiger Paw? Definitely a villain right there.
Yeah.
That dude was a villain.
Yep.
They sold hats that had
they did
in the back of them.
Yeah, Gamecock hats. They sure did. This was a real thing.
Yeah.
So in the Big 12, Iowa State, and let me explain. Iowa State should be doing a lot better in every area because if you look, they have really good facilities at Iowa State. Yeah, 6. Like I give Dirk top 10, 100%. Don't forget, Will Purdue has a few NBA championships for Vanderbilt supporters. Pat Summitt demand nothing but the best out of her. She is, it should have been Pat Summitt. Like, it's really weird that it wasn't. But Iowa State, getting back to what I said, Iowa State has the facilities. They have the fan base. They have the money that they're spending on coaching. And they're just good enough to look good and not good enough to be great. And that's a sad thing for Iowa State. It, like in football, they're so good and they fell. In basketball, they were number 2 and then they fell. Women's basketball, they were were they a 1 seed or a 2 seed? 2 seed, and they fell.
They were a 4 seed.
Were they a 4 seed? But like they're doing well in every sport, but they can't elevate in any sport, and that's a sad fan base. Chris was shaking his head no. So tell us why it's not.
Kansas.
Like they have basketball, man.
They've got one title in how many years? I mean, I understand what you're saying about Iowa State.
They have 0, but yeah.
Kansas is sucked in football, just if not worse than any team that may have even sucked worse in football than Vanderbilt has over the last 50 years.
I mean, last 2 years they've been pretty good, but yeah, Kansas football has been very abysmal.
We had 3 good years, 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah, but you take last 50 years, Kansas State has tons of national championships in basketball. Iowa State just keeps coming close, and just can't get there. You know, they're like South Carolina in football. You know, they'll get some really good runs, but.
And I can say from firsthand experience, being originally I was an hour drive away from Ames. I can tell you that fan base they're not sad. They're happy with what they do.
But they just can't make the jump. So, and JD, do you have one in the Big 12 different than Iowa State or Kansas?
No, I definitely have to put Iowa State right there.
Emily, do you have any different?
Mm-mm.
I mean, Iowa State, like they're just so close in every sport.
They can't
every single year. But shifting to the Big Ten, Nebraska, simply because of their football dominance. They were like, when we were growing up, JD, they were winning national championships in football left and right. Tommy Frazier out there running fucking Steve Spurrier's team off the field. I mean, like they were the 94 Nebraska team was the best team that ever played college football, right? So Nebraska's a blue blood. They have history. They're awesome. And then they joined the Big Ten for the paycheck. And I get it. Money talks. And then they just were awful.
Downhill.
Trash. Like it all started when they had a 9-3 season and fired their coach because that's not good enough at Nebraska. Then started winning 3 games a year after firing Bo Pelini. Like that's almost divine justice. Like how do you fire a coach who went 9-3, second in his division? He was on the way up. He had another top 10 recruiting class coming in. You fired him, said that wasn't good enough, and then like Nebraska's the saddest fan base in the Big Ten because they know what they should be. Chris, your turn.
Northwestern, they ain't won shit in anything ever.
Didn't they win one in baseball?
No.
They didn't? Oh, well. What about you, JD? Saddest fans in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I don't remember Northwestern didn't win a baseball championship.
Nope.
Yeah, I would have to go with Northwestern.
Matter of fact, Northwestern has the second longest losing streak in the history of college football.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had Darnell Autry, and that was a bad man. Took him to the Rose Bowl.
They had a couple good teams in there, yeah.
They did. Emily, do you have anybody different? With those years with Darnell Autry, they went to the Rose Bowl. Those were good teams. Do you have anybody different, Emily?
Nope, I'm going with you on this one.
Yes, so Nebraska was dominant though. So Pac-12, right? And everybody's moving, but right now we're sticking with the old school. Arizona. Why is Arizona the saddest fan base in each conference? Arizona's got some championships. Arizona, got some clout. Fuck Arizona. So I made a meme about Arizona, a Scooby-Doo villain is all it was. And it said Arizona fans when you mention football. They reported my page. They spammed me with 1 stars on my page, sent me private messages about just how terrible of a trash person I was. These are the saddest motherfucking individuals that I've ever seen in my whole life. Brock Vandergriff will take Kentucky to the next level. You're right. He will demand better than 7-5. So when Kentucky hits that 8-4 this year, baby, they're gonna raise them up over his shoulders. They're gonna win 8 games for. No, I'm just kidding. I love Mark Stoops. No, but Brock Vandergriff ain't that dude. But that's just my
Brock
opinion.
Vandergriff is not that dude, and
I don't think so either.
Mark Stoops better stop his team from fighting in the locker room if they hope to win anything this year, because right now he's lost his team.
So I'm going to comment. Mark Stoops is one of the best coaches in college football. The fact that he was able to have 10 win seasons at Kentucky, something nobody else has ever really been able to do, especially in recent years, is just a testament to how good that he is, because it's hard to win in Kentucky in football. But the fact that he was about to take that Texas A&M job and had to come limping his ass back into Kentucky, right? But he had to come limping his ass back to Kentucky with his tail between his legs because the fans fucking pushed his ass out. That's going to create something when you come back. Oh, so you didn't want to be here, right? Like in Kentucky, the only reason they kept him is to not destabilize their program. Let's not get it twisted. But anyway, saddest fan base in the Pac-12, Chris. The current Pac-12.
To be honest, I don't follow a lot of Pac-12. I'm not a West Coast. I'm just not a West Coast fan.
Right.
But
it's a tough one.
I'm going to say UCLA.
That's a pretty fucking sad fan base, man.
Because they have all the hype every year in every sport and come up empty every freaking year.
And especially considering in their history, 10 championships
they were
in
top
basketball.
10. They were top 10 in baseball this year, preseason. They have a losing record.
Yes.
Much like another team in the SEC that was top 5 in baseball and currently has a losing record.
Top 5 in baseball as early as 2 weeks ago, Chris.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Fuck Florida. JD, saddest fan base in the Pac-12.
UCLA is a good one, but I have to go with Arizona. I have a buddy that just recently retired from the military, and he's from there. He's a huge Arizona fan, and every day he was complaining and just grumpy and bitching about something about Arizona. So I definitely got to go with Arizona on that one.
Yeah, like 100%. Emily, who you got in the Pac-12?
I don't know.
Now remember, Arizona threatened your husband.
Oh, okay. So I add them to the list. Gotcha.
That's right. We add them to the list. So I mean, that's just like, these are sad fan bases. So we've got 12 minutes left, right before George starts knocking. So let's talk some baseball. What do you think about them Braves going into Houston and sweeping them motherfuckers #1? And the Braves are just injured. Ozzie Albies is out for 2 weeks now. Spencer Strider's out for the year. It can't be like that if they want to win it all. But right now, hey, we're doing good.
Didn't Acuna take one off the knee the other night?
He's fine. He's not going to miss any time. It wasn't too bad. It was a bruise. It wasn't even a contusion. So good luck, because Acuna's had a rough couple of years.
Anything comes close to his knees, and I'm freaking out. I'm just saying.
You know the Miami Marlins have hit Ronald Jr. MLB record 16 times, and the dude's only 25 years old. What does that tell you about the Marlins? But who's the best team in baseball right now, JD? The best team in baseball right now.
I got to go with my team.
I knew you were gonna say it. They're really good. They're really good though. Like, I can't argue it.
Yeah, they've been doing good. So hopefully they'll be able to pull it out this year. I gotta go with the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, they're currently 13-6. So they're up on Baltimore. So just, you weren't here for that. I don't know if you watched it or not, but we did all of our baseball picks, and I told them, I said the Yankees are going to be the most improved team this year, and they're going to win the East. Like, I told them at the beginning of the year. Like, I knew you were a Yankees fan. I knew that. So you said, I'm going with my team. I'm like, yeah, me too. Because I'm going with the Braves.
And I get a lot of crap because they're like, oh, how are you a Yankees fan? You should be a Braves fan. So just to clarify real quick, when I was little, knee high to a grasshopper, if you know what that means, a lot of people don't. But I was a huge fan of Darryl Strawberry. That was my favorite player.
It was the cocaine.
Yeah, and every team that he went with, that's who I was a fan of. So when he was at the Mets, I was a Mets fan. When he went to the Dodgers, I was a Dodgers fan. And then he went to the Yankees, I became a Yankees fan. And then he got into the drugs, and he went to rehab. I stayed a Yankees fan. Then he went back to the Yankees, and he started playing again. And he got back into drugs, and they kicked him out. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna stay a Yankees fan. So
he was well into the drugs.
I'm not a bandwagon fan. He was well into the drugs when he was playing for the Mets. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So this is a true story, because I remember growing up, like, I was the biggest Braves fan, still am, that ever lived. I promise you. And I would always collect Dale Murphy cards. And JD would always get Darryl Strawberry. So when he get cards and I get cards, I'd be like, I got 5 Darryl Strawberries. How many Murphys you got?
Yep.
And we'd swap them. So that is completely true. I love being a kid with baseball cards. Like, I loved it. So Chris, who do you think is going to win it all? We're very early in the season. I understand that.
Well,
but
I got to do it. We know it ain't going to be the Marlins, because Marlins ain't been good since P. Diddy's house got raided.
Yeah, and he left his sons there to burn. But, on another story.
But if I'm going to pick somebody to win it all, It's too early in the season. So much can happen. I've seen
right
the Cubs.
now.
I've seen the Cubs go from 11 down at the All-Star break to 2 weeks later having the lead. So too much can happen.
So let's go right now then. If the playoffs were to begin at this moment, who would you put your money on? You got a gun to your head. You got $100,000. You got to do it. Cubs are a good team, Matt. No doubt.
Why wouldn't you go with the defending champions?
The Texas Rangers?
Yeah.
Don't they have a losing record right now?
I mean, sure. But
sure.
Again, I've seen so many things happen in the past that just unexplainable things mid-season.
Yeah, I mean the Braves were 20 games down the year they won the Super Bowl. Do y'all remember that? The Mets started off something like 38-6.
Yeah.
The Braves were 18 games back and then won the division on the very last day of the regular season.
Yeah.
The very last day, and then went on to win the World Series. Oh, I remember it well. So yeah, to your point, a lot can happen.
And they called Leiter up. He pitched. He's pitched. He did fair for a rookie pitching in his first game.
Not Al Leiter, JD. He's like 200 now. He was back in our day.
So yeah, I think the Rangers. You have to go with the Rangers until they prove otherwise.
So to be the man, you have to beat the man. And right now, the Rangers are the man. They have the ring. That's a fact. I 100% agree with that. Like, you were champions until somebody takes that shit from you. As much as I hate fucking Georgia Bulldogs, they were champions for 2 years. I mean, and they damn near close to doing it 3 years. Like, they are the champions till someone comes and takes it from you. And that's what the Texas Rangers are right now.
And there are some teams that I still say you have to keep your eye on. Tampa Bay, Baltimore. I think you have to watch out for the Cardinals. If they can get some more pitching to go along with Sonny Gray, that's a dangerous ball club. So
if the Braves
it's going to be fun to see.
It's going to be a fun year. If the Braves stay healthy,
the problem with the Braves, and I'll say it again, the problem with the Braves, they can't beat the Phillies in the postseason. It's a mental thing for them right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I accept that challenge. Philadelphia is another team that could easily sneak in and win the World Series. Don't think that they can't, because they can. They are a very good team. Very dangerous team.
Who's your most hated team?
The New York Mets. Fuck them. I can't stand the fucking Mets. What about you? Who's your most hated team? Is it Boston?
No, I don't live up there, so I don't have the hate for Boston like most Yankee fans do. Mine's the Astros.
Cheating bastards.
Yes. I can't stand that, bro.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the Astros for two reasons. One, I was a huge Craig Biggio fan back in the day. Huge Craig Biggio. I love Jeff Bagwell. So I always have that special place in my heart. And also, my Braves won their World Series in Houston on their field. So I love me some Houston. Seriously, but yeah, they are some cheating bastards.
I can't stand them.
What about you, Emma? Who's your most hated team before we get to final thoughts?
I haven't picked one yet.
Yankees. You haven't picked that, and that's fine. And you will. The New York Mets is a good one. The Philadelphia Phillies are a good one. Pittsburgh Pirates are a good one. The Miami Marlins are a good one. There's a very big trend here for me. I can't. So the reason the Pirates made it in there with the NL East teams, because the Pirates and the Braves back in the day, in the early 90s, those were some classic series. Remember when Sid Bream did the slide, and I hated the Pirates back then. And it was fun to beat them with Rafael Belliard and Sid Bream, both 212 years old, that we took from them. So anyway, thank you all for being here. We got to get our final thought. What is it? Did I not get yours?
No.
Oh,
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
didn't.
What's your most hated team, Chris?
I'm going to have fun with JD. A-Rod was a doper and a cheater. Andy Pettit was a doper and a cheater.
I knew it was
Jason
coming.
Giambi was a doper and a cheater. They cheated worse than the Houston Astros did.
Oh.
I hate the Yankees. And damn it, they better trade my boy Spencer Jones and get him on the team that I can cheer for, because I can't cheer for him as long as he was wearing a damn Yankees uniform.
I cannot accept that wholeheartedly when you called out those Yankee players. And I have no love for the Yankees. But I can't accept that wholeheartedly when you have fucking Barry Bonds out here going from 185 pounds to 464 pounds in 6 months.
Yes,
Mark McGuire, 730 pounds of solid mass muscle. Like, let's not act like it was just him. It was rampant throughout baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
It was. Now, on McGuire, did you know that he played one season his entire major league career without going on the disabled list?
I did know that.
Do you know what year it was?
I do not, but I did know that fact.
It was the year that he went after the home run record. And he took andro injections for his back that he had for his entire career, that he had a bad back. He had a medical reason for taking andro. It was prescribed to him.
But did he have a medical reason for the big fucking needles of steroids that went between his toes or wherever the fuck you put them? Because that shit, you don't do that on andro. Like, you need some for real 1980s crime movie steroid cocaine drug pushers to get through that bit.
He was big when he came out of college, and if you know who Mark McGuire is, he's got a younger brother, Dan McGuire, that played quarterback in the NFL. Is 6'9", was freaking huge. He was just as big as Mark McGuire was.
And I can't imagine how he figured out how to do that.
I watched
the McGuire brothers out there with steroids and barbells.
I watched little Dan one time when he was a freshman in college on one knee from the 50-yard line and throw it through the uprights.
Wow. Once again, that sort of supports my these guys were shooting needles theory.
Dude had a cannon.
He sure did. Let's see. Most intentional walks consecutively was Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was the most intimidating batter of all time because Barry Bonds took the most steroids of all time. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, this is a scientific fact, I believe. I believe Dr. Fucci would back us on this. Yep, that motherfucker took the most steroids. I'm just saying this guy was just super fucking steroid mania. Anyway, we are past the 2-hour mark, which means we have to get into final thoughts. JD, if you can be here any week, you can be here. Just shoot me a message.
Absolutely.
Like any week at all. Like, you are 100% welcome at any time to come on this show.
Will do, brother.
I have an update.
What's that?
Vanderbilt 10, Florida 5. Game 1 goes to the Commodores.
Oh, yeah. Is it in Tennessee or Florida?
It's in Nashville.
In Nashville?
The reason the score's so late, they started at 5 o'clock. They had a rain delay.
Yeah, it's a little rain.
Texas A&M and Alabama's postponed.
Texas A&M's a good fucking baseball team.
Tennessee's going to go I see Matt over here saying Kentucky's the best team in baseball. The worst thing that could have happened to Kentucky this year was Kentucky jumping Tennessee in the rankings this week. Kentucky don't want angry Tennessee, and that's what they're getting.
And we do have to do final thoughts, but I want to touch on this real quick. If you look at competition matters, right? It's easy for a team to go 40-0 when they're playing, fucking Pickens High School up there, right? It's real fucking easy. And if you look at the body of work the teams that Kentucky has played versus teams that Tennessee has played, it's not really close.
No.
It's really not. They played one of the softest schedules, if not the softest schedule in the SEC so far. And that really generally doesn't end up boding well later. You see that all the time in the NCAA tournament. These teams in the Colonial Athletic Conference win 27 games in the regular season, and then get beat by fucking 30 in the first round of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So competition matters. I'm not saying Kentucky's not a good team, but Kentucky is not a better team than Tennessee. That shit ain't for real. But JD, thank you for being here. Give me your final thoughts. And stay safe. We're praying for you over there. We're international.
International. It's official. Final thoughts. I try to stay up as much as I can with the sports. I'm hoping baseball can continue to Gamecocks can continue to do well. I'd like to see them get back playing for the national championship. And I'm looking forward to the football season this year. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
And with the playoffs getting extended from what it got 8 or 12.
It's 12 this year, 14 next year.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be very interesting. Can't wait. Other than that, I hope everybody stays safe. World's getting crazy, but
yes,
as long as we're doing what we can, I think everything will be all right.
I agree. And we certainly appreciate your service
It's
now
my pleasure.
more than ever.
It's my pleasure. I enjoy it.
Tip of the cap.
And I know it's your pleasure because I know you, and I've known you for almost 40 years. I know it's your pleasure, but we still thank you. Definitely tip of the cap.
Support.
Because I'm sitting here warm at home with my wife and family because you are not, and that matters. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emily, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Just great to be here. Ready for next week.
Yes, I can't wait for next week. We'll be so close to the NFL draft that we could probably even talk about it. So, Chris, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's my turn to do it. Thank you for your service, JD.
My pleasure.
But beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, if you have mental health problems, take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
If you feel depressed or you feel the need that you're going to harm yourself in any way, shape, or form, I know my mailbox is open. I'm sure Andrew's is open. Reach out, talk to us. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, the suicide prevention hotline is 988. Remember that number, put it up on your refrigerator, whatever. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to somebody. Mental health matters. You matter. Take care of yourself. And I'll throw it back to you, Andrew.
Thank you all for coming on. I appreciate everybody being here today. Final thoughts. Caitlin Clark is a superstar, and the stupid question that was asked of her this week should have accountability, and it should be swift. That's just the most disrespectful thing that I've seen in a long time. The NFL draft's coming up close. Go Falcons! Pick somebody at this point. The Gamecocks are your women's national champions, and I know that's last week's topic, but you're probably going to hear it a lot going forward because I love Dawn Staley in South Carolina. It's been a pleasure being here with everybody tonight. Every time that you guys tune in, it just shows how much that everybody can really love each other. This is College Sports Villains, only on the Dog Media Network. As always, John 3:16.
College Football Dogs. By the fans, for the